Good morning from the foundry. Got some fun lined up for today. Got us a test well to put the rig on. We're going to test our downhole weight. I got the rig cleaned up, pretty well organized. Should have all our tools. And of course, we have got our new downhole weight we're going to test. Put some new lights on this thing last night, some LED tail lights. Eventually I'm going to do markers and the whole 9 yards. I just didn't really have time. I just wanted to get it road ready. We got to go about 20 miles. So everything is buttoned up. Got my fuel for the generator. Oh, check this out. I piped my exhaust out the side of the trailer just to kind of save on this foil. The exhaust was just pounding it right there, and I thought, you know, that's going to burn through eventually, so I just piped it out the side of the trailer. And so I'm going to switch trucks. This thing's tongue heavy, isn't it? It's on a hill, so it makes it look a little worse than it is, but it is tongue heavy. And so I'm going to put it on Brute, a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive you've seen in my other videos. And we're going to trek out to the oil field. The well we're going to, I've actually been on before, so it shouldn't be any surprises. I wanted a good well that I'm familiar with to do my testing, because if I encounter issues, I want to know if it's issues with my rig or with the well itself. So I know there's no issues with this well, so should give us a good baseline to do our testing. So let's get to it. All right, here's what we're working with today. This well's been offline for at least 20 years, but we've hit it before. So we'll remove this cap. There's a rubber plug in there, we'll take that out. Then I'll do a fluid level test. Here's our well. So I come up with this little trick. It's kind of like Creekology from the old days. I got a stopwatch on my phone. I'm going to drop a pebble down the well and count the seconds until it hits fluid. Then there's an equation I can use to determine how far the pebble went. And it's going to be hard to do holding a camera and hitting the stopwatch at the same time without dropping either device down the well. That would be awful. So I'm going to set the camera down. All right. Start the watch as soon as I release the pebble. Okay, so it took 7.1 seconds for the rock to go all the way down, hit the fluid, and the sound to travel back up the well. So now I'm going to calculate about how far that is. There's a pretty complex mathematical equation, but I've got a chart that I made that just makes it faster if I can find it. Oh, let's go to fluid depth. Here we go. All right, so 7 seconds would be in between 400 and 500 feet. I could really dial that in, but it's not necessary for my purposes. I just need a ballpark. So now that I know where my fluid level is, when I send this weight down for the first time, I'll be able to, I don't know if automatic mode's gonna work just yet. And so what automatic ought to do is it'll send the weight down automatically. When it encounters the fluid level, it should let me know. Now, if it doesn't let me know and I'm at 600-700 feet, then I know that I need to either make an adjustment to my PLC calibration or just accept the fact that the weight is not going to work perfect in automatic mode. Either way, it's not a big deal because, like I said, as long as I know where the fluid level is and as long as automatic mode works well enough for me to track the depth that weight's going, I'll know, okay, I'm at 500 feet on the rig. I know I'm past the fluid level or what have you. So that's really what it's all about. And then I send the weight down about 300 feet past the fluid level, because where the fluid level starts isn't where you're going to end after production, because it may have 300 or 400 feet of oil in the casing. That's what I'm going to be removing. So if I start at 400 feet, I may end at 700 feet or something like that. So I want to make sure there's no obstructions in that whole range. So that's what we're going to do here today. With the generator fired up, we've got power to our computer and our controls. We actually decided to test the bucket first, so we have it hanging in the wellhead, and now we're going to attach it to the rig with the rope.
I don't want this working with it. No, I brought you to be a finger pointer. That was important to doing it yourself. You need to relax and sip on some lemonade and just watch me work. That killed me.
Next, we use the jacks on the rig to center and level the bucket in the well. Since we're using a new bucket, we have to calibrate the machine for its weight. Weight is very important because that's how the computer knows what's going on down the well. Along with tracking distance, it uses weight to determine when you encounter fluid, among other things. So this process takes a few test cycles, and we made some adjustments, and we finally got it dialed in pretty good. It should start speeding up. There it goes.
So it goes from slow to medium on the learn phase, and then after it detects, it sets everything. When it goes down, it'll go down fast.
Okay, so when it's in a real cycle, it'll go faster than that.
Faster than that.
So this is the learn cycle, and we should be encountering fluid within the next 100, 150 feet. There it is. It got it. So now it drops 50 feet below, or another 50 feet from when it encounters fluid, thereabouts, so the bucket can fill. All right, the bucket's filling up. You can definitely tell there's more weight on the rope. It's going to pull it back up. Starts off slow, then it'll start going fast. So it's moving along at a little faster pace now, because it's learned the well. It knows there's no obstructions. It'll start slowing down about 30 feet before the bucket comes up out of here. That way you don't have a backlash. All right, so we're coming up. All right, so our bucket test is pretty good, so we're gonna pull that bucket up out of the hole and install the downhole weight.
button on there. And I'm gonna try to stop it.
There it is.
And see the top, I put a little cup in the top of it. That way it would bring up whatever kind of fluid was down there to kind of, you know, if I'm on a new well, right, I don't know if it's salt water or oil or what's gonna be down there, so go ahead and crank it up a little bit more. Just a 3-inch Schedule 40 pipe full of lead. And there's the bottom. That's basically a coupler nut, and then the lead is also threaded up in there about 8 inches. And I got a bolt in the bottom, just keep your threads clean before I insert tools or whatever.
He'll have a retrieval tool that would save me like $5 grand.
So the downhole weight worked great, and now we have installed one of my brush attachments, and we're going to try that.
We're going to see what it does when it encounters that tapered collar down in there. Yeah, it got by.
Oh, cool. That's good.
That casing starts out at 6 inches, but I believe it gets reduced to about 4 inches at the next joint, because that brush was a little over 4 inches in diameter and it was dragging pretty heavy. Now I've obviously condensed things for the video, but the whole process of testing the new bucket and the new weight took about 3 hours. But now that the rig is all set up, it really won't take me that long to set up on a new well. It usually takes about 30 minutes to get the rig set up on a new well, unless maybe you're on some unlevel terrain or you have some obstacles that might take up to an hour. So yeah, sorry about the sketchy camera work. Really wasn't out here to take a video so much as I was to work that machine and learn a few things about our new equipment. And buddy of mine, Mr. Wayne, that's the guy I bought it from, super nice guy. He was kind enough to come out and help me calibrate it. So, you know, I was trying to be respectful of his times, and just the fact that it's so freaking hot. It's probably around 100 degrees. It just rained yesterday, so it's full humidity. It's just absolutely miserable work conditions, unless of course you like the heat, which I do not. I am a wintertime person. So anyway, about to roll up. I'll go over with you what I learned. Right now I'm going to sit in the shade just for a second. That truck, if you watch my videos on getting it running for these jobs, doesn't have an air conditioner that's functional. So this was really a successful test well. Successful test, learned a lot, most of it positive, couple little disappointments, but nothing major. So what we learned about the new bucket. The bucket is slightly lighter than the old bucket, and that is because the old bucket had a lot of buildup in it. And so this is a brand new clean bucket, no buildup. So what that means is we had to reprogram the PLC for the new weight. And so that's why I had Mr. Wayne out here with me, and he kind of showed me how to do that. The bucket worked flawlessly as far as traveling up and down the casing. The old bucket had a kink in it, so sometimes it would snag. Didn't have any problem with this bucket snagging. The only disappointment with my new bucket, and it's not the bucket's fault, so I can't really say it's a disappointment with the bucket itself, but the discharge rate isn't as forceful as I'd like it to be, and that could be due to this compressor right here. I need to hang a gauge on that and see what kind of pressure. I'm needing about 130 psi, and I don't know if I'm a little low on pressure, or Mr. Wayne seems to think that the quality of the oil that's coming out of this well, it's very gassy. There's a lot of air bubbles in it. So what that means is it's very light and the viscosity is very low. And it could just be that, you know, this design of bucket doesn't handle that very low gassy viscosity oil as well as it does regular old thick crude, you know. So it could be that. I won't know till I put it on the next well, but that's really the only disappointment I had out of the bucket. Now, onto the weight. The weight works flawlessly. I do not have to reprogram the PLC to run the weight in automatic mode. However, it does not register the fluid level because it's bullet shaped. It pretty much encounters no resistance to the oil. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but really not a big deal. Everything else worked excellent. Overall, very happy. And one last thing I want to cover is this generator. It worked really good. Man, this enclosure really worked out great. Got the exhaust running out. He said he could tell a significant difference in the sound levels from when he used to run it with the setup he had. So anyway, I'm gonna sit in the shade a minute, drink on this cold water, cool down, roll all this up, head back to the foundry. Got a lot of good information today. The machine responded well to my new tools. So really the next step is to put this thing to work. So I've got some new customers lined up. One in particular has already found, well, they believe they have found 3 to 5 shut-in wells on their lease that don't have rod and tubing, which means they're compatible for my rig. So we're gonna go check them out. I'm gonna take you guys with me. We're gonna see if they have oil. If so, how much? It could be dry holes, or who knows, may find the next honey hole. So anyway, if you got anything out of this, if it was mildly amusing, moderately entertaining, or who knows, maybe educational, do me a favor, like, subscribe. See you in the next one.